Hello, welcome to Mark Homer Studio on YouTube and Draw Me Face on Twitch. So today I'm going to be actually drawing my daughter, and I call it my favorite daughter because I only have one daughter, so I can do that, right? I have four daughters-in-law, and they're awesome, but I only have one daughter. So here we go. So what I've done already, what we've gotten done, is blocking in or boxing in the main image. And I literally put a box, and then I do some main anchor points and major divisions, and then I start blocking in the lights and darks that are going on with the face. Now on this one, there was some, I don't know if it's because I did my son not too long ago. My oldest son, that's my daughter. I don't know if it's being so familiar and having me girl. I really wasn't panicked about it or anything like that, but it's like you really worry about if you're getting everything right. However, things are going fine, but then, you just got to keep pushing until you get through them and get things fixed up at the end. So here I actually ended up doing 3 sessions of an hour and a half each, basically. Maybe not quite that long, instead of just 1 session of an hour and a half. So in hopes of just doing an hour and a half one, turned into a little bit longer, but that's all right. So with it basically measured in, some lights and darks going in, and then also I've pushed tone throughout the paper, so we've got a little bit of tone on the bristle board. It's actually bristle board. And what I'm using is Prismacolor NuPastel compressed charcoal, which I just love. It just works really nicely. It's easy to control. The way I use it though, I use as big a piece. If you were painting, you would say I'm using the biggest brush I can use. I want to make the biggest marks possible. You want to put the biggest marks down that you can and then refine them. You don't want to come in too early with little details and stuff like that. Like on the teeth right there, you got to be really careful not to have too much detail. You want to have the teeth blend together as much as possible and just put a suggestion of what might be the division between them. Her nose, I just had to work and work and work. So anyway, and the mouth too, and the eyes. I guess everything I just had to work. But it took a lot to kind of get it going. And early on here, I had the eyes too low. You'll see me move them a couple of times. So anyway, but it's fun. You just keep moving and just keep refining the shapes you have and just pushing them around until they are less distracting, if that makes sense. My dad, who was a fine jeweler for decades, most of his career, and ended up being one of the finest jewelers in the state, he talked to a designer in San Francisco once, and the designer basically just said, you just look at it, the jewelry, talking about making jewelry. He says, you just look at it and get rid of the distractions. So that's kind of how I go about this. You do the big things, you look at them, and you look at what's not working, what needs to be remeasured, reshaped, moved, or whatever. That's why you don't want to go with refined detail too early, because you may need to move it all if you don't have it quite in the right place. So you work the biggest shapes you can for as long as you can, and then just go in with smaller and smaller refinement once you're sure you don't really need to move it. You can see the eye in the shadow area is low because I moved the eye in the light side of the face up and the other one's low. I tried to erase it or kind of push it into the tone, but it wouldn't go away. But I'll put another eye in there in a little bit. Once I get certain parts of it brought to a certain finish, then you want to dance around and bring everything else to a complementary finish. And I say complementary because you don't necessarily need the hair to be exactly finished as much as, say, the facial features. Little moments in the hair maybe you do to suggest it, but not all of it for sure. You don't want a haystack, you don't want noodles, you don't want even this big head of hair going on. What you want is just the molding of the larger parts of the hair to tell the story, and put a little bit of texture in as needed. So a lot of refinement goes into this last part here, just really pushing around things in the shadows, just trying to get things, again, to feel comfortable, to feel non-distractful, no, I'm just kidding, non-distracted, or whatever. You'll see my hand, oh, okay, just changed back. Before you can see my hand in the reference picture, I had to put it in a different place because one of my cameras stopped. So now we're back to normal. Okay, with basically the face done and the head still being worked but basically built, it's time to go in and put whatever background you're going to decide to do. I like to put a little something, you know, the reference is there, not that you have to replicate it exactly. Yeah, I can't even really tell what it is. Well, I kind of know what it is, but it's hard to tell. It doesn't matter. But what you want to do is use it to your advantage to complement your main feature, to emphasize or give distance or depth and things like that. So again, time to go in and just dance around and refine things that just aren't quite feeling right. My wife actually, she'll either text me on my phone or she'll chat with me on my stream on Draw Me Face. And she'll say, hey, check this out, try this. And it's awesome because she's watching and she gets to just look at it and go, oh, try this. Or look at this part, look at that part. And anyway, she was happy with it when it was done. But I love it when she comments so that I can know what to do. So we're just going in and just having fun with kind of putting in the last bits of what's needed, both on the feature, into the hair especially, and I really chiseled down the hair here right at the end on the right side, on her left, on the right side of the picture, because it was just too bulky. So I come in several times and kind of work that down to make sure it isn't giving us any grief there. So just a little more refinement on everything, and yeah, just kind of just working it through. Again, trying to raise the background detail up enough to just make a little sense, have a little say in the piece, and also give it depth value-wise, light and dark, and with some contextual, environmental depth in there also. And that's about it. And it's been fun to be with you, and hope you enjoyed watching me struggle through getting that done. So anyway, thanks so much, you guys, and take care. Bye-bye.